So we've conceived a program that consists of a number of parts. The one was a 2-day kind of series of conversations between artists and academics / cultural producers and curators. And the idea really was to kind of form or chart a way of writing about art history or writing about artistic practice that is based on dialogue.
And so struggle photography has, as a struggle photography, that categorization sticks to me like glue. I own up to it, but I'm much more than that, you know. But I'm of course, the struggle, as we know, as I said, is the title of my presentation, is real.
I think the concept of resistance art and how it's become so entrenched in people's thinking about South African art is deeply problematic. It's deeply problematic because actually it comes from Sue Williamson's book, okay? And the thing is that book is not about resistance art at all. She never set out to write about resistance art. There's nothing in that book that even talks about resistance art. That was the publisher who didn't like her title for her book, Andries Olifant, who came with the title, and she went with it. And this is very, very interesting because on the basis of just that evocative idea, so many people have generated all these ideas on what is resistance art without it actually being theorized in any kind of way.
The most important thing is to realize that in the past we've had we have historical imbalances in terms of who writes and who is written about, and also how which art gets taught about, and so we in order to change that we have to start with the small steps.
So I don't consider myself a graffiti artist. I think that I use a lot of the tools and the attitudes that graffiti artists have, especially because I am not, the public is not I'm not too concerned with the public when I'm conceptualizing the work I'm doing. Only because I feel like if it resonates with me, it's going to resonate with someone else. Because I think there's enough of a connection seeing that I'm a product to the public. But I'm not going, what would this person like to see?
Like I was trying to say that it would be, you'll put something that would sort of like have a meaning to you. I don't know how to intellectualize this, because hey, when you do art, you are not an intellectual. You just want to just depict what you're feeling, you see, and then to explain it now to another person. Why did you use that color? Why did you make that person? Well, you see, hey, it's very hard to see.
For me, I've been in situations where clients will ask you to paint something for them, and they chose you because you're black and because you can represent. It's like because you can represent a certain social story because of your background or anything. So if they ask Dane to paint a black woman, we don't know his ties really with African culture and all of that. But if they get me on the other hand, then I'm sort of like the guy that can give the stamp of approval to say that, okay, well, it's painted by black artists, this guy's Zulu and whatever the case may be, so he gets the that's where I get a little bit annoyed, is that people want to buy into a certain culture. I can't say it's just only African culture, it's many different cultures. So graffiti culture is one. People want to buy into it, but they don't want to absorb all its problems and all its, you know what I mean?
Complexities.
Yeah, so people just want a certain particular part of it because that is what can help them maybe look good. So
in terms of my mentorship group, I've taken a kind of an open-ended approach where I'm sort of, I suppose, letting the kind of concepts and ideas sink in for them before they propose specific artists to look at. because I wanted to address this kind of the methodology, sort of how we're going to approach writing about about art and specific artists. So what I plan to do is to kind of stay in contact with them and help them develop a first draft, and also just kind of what I'm also interested in is developing a space where young writers can get together and talk and discuss ideas and maybe even read, and so hopefully this will be a kind of a starting point for something like that. Yeah.
There's also the discussing of theory from hearsay, or should I call it second-hand writings. For example, when you look at Baba's concept on the location of culture or hybridity is so thin and so badly articulated. If you look at it, he looks at it from Indian writers, your Salman Rushdie's Midnight Children, Satanic Verses. But because we don't read the primary text, we read the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth-hand text, and then we have what you spoke about, resistance art that is misunderstood, because the secondary text is so badly written, so there's hardly any engagement with the primary text.
The ASAI project from the beginning has always tried to break down the barrier between the academic, the non-academic, the artist, the curator. We've never wanted to go in as a niche in terms of, well, we're just working with this level. It's a great thing and it adds to the dynamism, but it does present a lot of challenges. The difficulty I had in presenting was, who am I talking to? How much detail do I need to go into? Am I patronizing people by going into an explanation? Or do I need to elaborate?
I don't know, I came into the workshop because it's a workshop to come with an open mind. It's not like a structured conference where you have abstracts and you have an idea of what people have to say, which is good with a workshop, because with a conference and you have an idea of what people are going to say, you start preparing questions and preparing your mind to receiving certain information and how you are going to react when you don't hear certain information. So it's nice to come to these spaces with an open mindset. It's nice to meet artists. For me, at least, it was a good thing to come to Durban, just to come and meet up with writers in Durban, artists and people who are active in the art industry in Durban.